Really the only song I knew was Looking for Freedom, so I said that. And kind of we were all joking, having fun with the media.
The inside scoop on the Nowitzki-Hasselhoff connection will finally be revealed. And so much more. It is all coming up next.
A lot of fans are coming up to me now more than ever and just saying, "Hey, big shot, Bob."
I like to say when it's time to turn it up that I turn it up. I got a toughness inside of me that just won't let me quit.
Wayne Wade with a beautiful move.
If you're going to be in the NBA, if you're going to be out there on a basketball court where people can watch you, why not try to put on a show?
Here comes Willis, and the crowd is going wild. Bird fires. It's a three-pointer, and he's tied the game. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of what has come to be known as the Marv Show. And we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend the next half hour here with us. Now, on each episode, we profile NBA players, coaches, and personalities and explore an aspect of the game that relates to their career. And today I'll be talking with one of the NBA's premier forwards, Dirk Nowitzki. Now in his 9th season, Dirk has become a superstar with the Dallas Mavericks. But his journey to the NBA actually began in a small town in Germany. As a youngster, Dirk was something of a late bloomer when it came to basketball, but you could say that the game has always been in his blood.
Nowitzki has it, fires a three. Wow! Nowitzki hits a three to tie the game.
Dirk, you may be the only player in the league who can claim that his mother was a star on the international basketball scene. And I'm assuming that had a great influence on you.
Yeah, it did. My mother was a great player, and basically I grew up in gyms. You know, my mother played basketball and my sister played basketball, and my dad was a good handball player in Europe. As long as I can remember, I was already running around chasing balls in the gym and watching my parents perform and play. And so I always grew up around sports.
How significant was basketball in Germany when you first started playing?
It wasn't at all. Obviously, everybody knows soccer is #1 in Germany and in Europe. Basketball was kind of on the side, but for me it was just a fun sport. You know, there's so many things, even though at the beginning I really had no skill level, but just chasing the balls, being in a team, and it was something exciting about that sport that got my attention. When I started, like 13, 14, I was a huge fan of the NBA, but I never thought I could play in this league.
But for Dirk and other young European players, their basketball horizons were about to expand thanks to the Dream Team's success at the Olympics.
Big smile. That's perfect.
1992, Barcelona. Here are the great stars of the NBA. What impact did that have on you?
That was big. I was 14 at the time. To see them come to Europe and the whole hype around it was an amazing thing. And I think it meant a lot to basketball in general in Europe, just to see those stars there and the way they handle themselves and the way they performed. It was an amazing push, I think, for basketball in Europe.
Nowitzki is off to a great start. His longtime coach got an emergency phone call from Dirk yesterday urging him to come.
Nowitzki looks to answer. Now, when you were 16, a man by the name of Holger Geschwinde, who was the captain of the German Olympic team, took an interest in you. How did he influence you both on the court and off?
Well, you know, it was kind of weird at the beginning. I didn't know who he was then. So when he approached me after one of my games, he's like, "So who practices with you?" And he's like, "I would really like to try, you know, and work individually with you and work on your skills." So we started off kind of once or twice a week at the beginning. We started to see development really quick, and we just built a great relationship already then when I was 16.
Was he influential in developing that outside touch?
He really taught me how to shoot and, you know, all the little things you have to look for. But all the little small minor things that you have to pay attention when you shoot. You know, he's the one that taught me all of that.
And when Dirk was struggling during the 2003 playoffs, he once again turned to his mentor for advice.
Nowitzki, another three.
He became kind of a second father to me, and I trust him with everything on and off the court.
Now, legend has it that as a member of a German national team, you went up against an exhibition team of NBA players, and you actually threw one down in the face of Sir Charles.
You know, during the game, I might have hit a jumper, I might have dunked one, but it really, just to be out there and on the same court as those superstars was just the best feeling ever. And after that, this is when Charles said that, you know, that was pretty impressive.
If he wants to come to the States, I can get him into Auburn University if he wants to go.
Now, Sir Charles can be very persuasive, as those of us who work with him have discovered firsthand. But Dirk decided not to take his advice about attending Auburn University. Nevertheless, he did have his sights set on an NBA career. And there was another American star who became an inspiration to Dirk, a player that he would pattern his game after. In what we like to refer to as a tease, you'll find out who that player was when we come back. Following the success of the Dream Team, the NBA's popularity soared in Europe. The league's games were now being televised globally, and watching intently was a teenager in Germany by the name of Dirk Nowitzki. By then, he was working diligently on his game, and he saw that a player from Germany could make it in the NBA as Detlef Schrempf was in the midst of a solid career. But as Dirk followed the league, another player caught his attention, one who demonstrated the importance of versatility.
There's a pretty good jump shooter, Dirk Nowitzki. Perhaps you've heard of him.
A shooter never stops shooting.
There's one guy who has so much range.
Right side Nowitzki, his jumper, good for three. Dirk Nowitzki has just sealed the deal for the Maverick.
There was nobody I could think of who played the way you did. A 7-footer on the perimeter, hitting jump shots. So who?
Obviously Jordan is the greatest ever, but I really loved the way Pippen played.
Beats Pippen for the jam. Powerhouse.
There was really nothing on the court that he couldn't do.
Behind the back. Oh!
He could shoot, he could rebound, he was a great defender.
Stopped again by Pippen. What a play by Scottie Pippen. Yeah! There it is.
He was a great all-around player, and that's what I liked about him. Everything looked so smooth when he moved on the court.
Pippen with the stop. Oh, what a move by Scottie Pippen.
I really loved this game a lot.
Scottie Pippen out with it. Pippen on the drive, left of the lane to the rack. Whoa!
Scottie Pippen teamed up with Michael Jordan to form the cornerstones of the Bulls teams that dominated the NBA in the 1990s.
Beautiful play!
A uniquely talented small forward, Pippen provided many key ingredients as Chicago launched its dynasty.
Chicago has dominated every game.
The Chicago Bulls have 3 straight NBA championships.
And when Jordan retired in 1993, Scottie proved that he could carry the Bulls on his shoulders.
Oh, he has been unstoppable. An MVP performance by
Pippen. Beautiful jump hook.
Pippen led the Bulls to its 55 wins in 1994 and was making a lasting impression on Dirk.
Ultimately, I wanted to be a good all-around player too. Pippen is a player that I love the most.
I'm winding down. Battle. Scottie by Pippen. Oh, reverse jam. Yes, and MJ loves it.
When I walked away from the game for 2 years, he was exposed to what I had to deal with, and he didn't have a shield anymore. But Scottie flourished individually. He became more of a mature player.
And when Jordan did return, his partnership with Pippen was more effective than ever, as both were now among the game's elite players.
Hey, Michael on the run. MJ running, shovels, Pippen jams with the right hand.
In 1996, Chicago won an NBA record 72 games while regaining the championship, and they were on their way to another three-peat.
Skipped across, Pippen the steal. Scottie saves it to Tony. He runs it again. The Bulls win.
and Scotty was hailed as a vital component in the Bulls' run of 6 titles in 8 years. As the Bulls were compiling championships, Dirk Nowitzki kept a poster of Scotty on his bedroom wall. And by the age of 16, his own skills had improved to the point where he joined his hometown professional team, the Wurzburg X-Rays. Wurzburg, of course, being the city where the X-ray was invented back in 1895, but you knew that. Just a little trivia that you can use to impress your friends and family. Before long, Dirk's talent had caught the eye of an NBA team, the Dallas Mavericks. And we'll pick up that part of the story when we return. These days, players from all over the world are making their mark in the NBA. But that certainly wasn't the case a decade ago. Very few teams were scouting overseas. One of them, however, was the Dallas Mavericks. Donnie Nelson, their assistant coach at the time, was a pioneer in finding international talent. He obtained some video of a young Dirk Nowitzki and brought him to the attention of his father, Don, the Mavs head coach. And when Dirk came to the United States with an international junior team, the player the Mavericks had seen on tape was even more impressive in the flesh.
Shows a lot of body control and a lot of good moves for a guy who's 6'11".
We're going to see you back here in the NBA, maybe another Detlef Schrempf someday?
Oh, I hope so. I don't know yet.
With the 9th pick in the 1998 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Dirk Nowitzki from Wurzburg, Germany.
What was your thought process at the time? Here, a team wants you, you got to feel happy, and all of a sudden they trade you away, which is the business of the NBA on draft day.
I wasn't even quite sure if I wanted to come to the States. So really at the time, I didn't really care too much who drafts me, where I was drafted. I was thinking about playing in Europe for a couple more years.
But the Mavericks had to make a recruiting trip to Germany, making Dirk an offer to come to the NBA.
We understand you want to stay in Europe, but at least come over and see in Dallas, meet a couple of your new teammates, and then you make the decision. And I got to know Finley, I got to know Steve Nash, and met some of the other players, and that's when I made the decision, hey, I'll try it.
See, Nowitzki just was not aggressive enough. When that ball was there, he just didn't go get it.
Nowitzki backing down with 5, stripped by Chapman. I remember watching you the first couple of times, and I see this guy 7 feet tall. Nelly is encouraging you to take outside shots from all angles, and you were not shy about it. You were firing him up. But he's saying this guy could be rookie of the year. Nowitzki, not good-looking shot there at all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people laughed at him. I think ultimately everything got to me.
And a steal.
I wasn't quite sure if I was ready, if my skills are good enough. So combined together, I was so far away from my family, I was homesick a little bit, and really just everything kind of came down on me that first year and didn't really work out the way I wanted to.
After what had to be a disappointing rookie season for you, what was the summer of 1999 back home in Germany like for you?
The greatest thing about that lockout year at the end of '99 that we were out of the playoffs.
Dallas will miss the playoffs for the 9th straight year. That's the longest drought in the NBA.
Nelly was like, look, we're out of the playoffs, we don't have a chance anymore, so now the pressure's kind of off. And he kind of threw me back in the starting lineup again.
Then Nowitzki with a putback. I'm starting to have some more respect for number 41.
And he's like, make a couple more experiences for yourself and see how it is out there.
Nowitzki in the open court, and he just keeps going.
Coast to coast. He's going to be a fine player. If he'll hang in the NBA, this guy will be tough.
Just kicked in a little bit later than sooner, and Dirk had to learn some hard lessons about the physicality of the NBA, what it took to compete every night.
Nowitzki. Hey, maybe Dirk is going to pick up where he left off last night.
And I actually had a couple good games at the end of my first year, and I think that's where really my confidence went up.
Nowitzki, look at that move. Nowitzki with a spectacular move.
And in my second year,
Finley burns up the court, whips the pass underneath to Nowitzki. Dirk protected with the body, gets the basket and draws the foul.
I was already feeling a lot better about everything, about my game.
Even Don Nelson says he didn't expect him to be this good this soon.
Nowitzki, nice fake, gets inside. Point at the end.
I was already more confident. I think confidence is very big in this league.
Dirk continued to improve, and by 2001, he became the first Maverick ever named to the All-NBA team. He had put his struggles behind him and arrived as a star.
How about Dirk Nowitzki?
Dirk Nowitzki is the man, the blonde bomber, the German phenom.
Americans like to think of basketball as their own. How did it feel, though, to be the first European-born star in the NBA?
I never really thought about the whole European thing. I get the questions a lot if I feel the pressure representing Germany.
Nowitzki is so famous here in Germany because the German boy made it to the most popular basketball league in the world.
I love what I do. I'm in a great situation. My hobby is basically my job. And I just love what I do and try to make the best out of it.
After his period of adjustment, Dirk was finally feeling comfortable on the court. There were some off-the-court adjustments as well as he tried to adapt to the American lifestyle. Some customs were more difficult to grasp than others. For instance, Dirk felt very strongly that peanut butter and jelly simply did not go together, though many would certainly disagree. But he was fitting in well with his teammates, and Dallas had emerged as a playoff team. We'll move on to the next phase of Dirk's career in just a moment. When Dirk Nowitzki came to Dallas in 1998, he was joined by another new addition to the Mavericks, Steve Nash. The two formed a close friendship, and together they blossomed into stars. Led by the talented trio of Nowitzki, Nash, and Michael Finley, the Mavericks, who had struggled for years, became contenders in the Western Conference. But after a trip to the conference finals in 2003, they took a step backwards the following season with an early playoff exit. And the team was about to undergo a major shakeup.
It's over as the Sacramento Kings beating Dallas 4-1.
Dirk, you guys get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs in 2004, and the team you grew up with changes dramatically. The Mavericks at the time were not going in the right direction.
It was tough for me, obviously, to see my best teammates leave. But we thought we were very close, and we know we have a core of guys with Steve and Mike and myself that we want to build around. Next thing you know, Steve leaves. The next year following, Mike leaves. It was really tough for me to see those guys leave that helped me so much, and we built a great friendship and relationship over the years. Obviously, losing my friends was tough, but I was pleased to see that we got other players that can carry on and help this organization win games.
He puts up a 20-footer in the corner and got it over Duncan. Oh, incredible! Thank you very much, Jason Eugene Terry.
During the postseason last year, you're asked, how do you remain so calm at the foul line? And you said, well, it goes back to your days in Germany, and you would hum a David Hasselhoff song that was #1 at the time in Germany. What was the name of the song?
Looking for Freedom.
Right.
Right.
And this got a lot of publicity. In fact, it gained additional attention for David Hasselhoff, who ends up showing up at several Maverick playoff games. Were you kidding around about it? I mean, you've turned David Hasselhoff's career around single-handedly.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I could help. But the whole thing was started off as a joke. Kind of started in the San Antonio series where down the stretch I made some big free throws.
Now Nowitzki, just like in Game 3, has a chance to at least tie the game here for Dallas.
And then I was asked by the media how I stay so cool at the line. And I told them that I would sometimes sing a song just to relax and not to get frozen up on the line. And I was like, sure, David Hasselhoff. And that's really the only song I knew was Looking for Freedom, so I said that.
En route to the finals, Dirk was at his best, and in the second round, he led the Mavericks past the Spurs in Game 7.
Nowitzki lays it in and draws the foul.
You end up facing the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals, going against your good friend, Steve Nash.
Well, you know, we played him the year before already when the first year he left. We played him in the second round.
111-108. Nash goes. This is 3 for the tie. Good! Steve Nash again!
For Dirk, that series was heading for an excruciating finish.
4. This to send it to 7. Stackhouse off the rim. We go to overtime. Nowitzki has been animated and agitated at mental mistakes made by his teammates tonight.
That year, that first year, when he left, it was the weirdest thing, and you know, then they beat us.
The Phoenix Suns, they've eliminated Dallas.
Pretty tough just to see him in a different uniform, see how well he does and how well he was playing for Phoenix. Fortunately, last year in the playoffs, we got the revenge and we beat him.
Nowitzki a 3 for 50. He got it! Dirk Nowitzki, a 50-point playoff game. That's it for the first time ever. The Dallas Mavericks are champions of the Western Conference, and they go to the NBA Finals.
You have the 2-0 lead on the Heat, and then Miami comes right back, takes the championship. What does that do to you as you look to the new season? I mean, is it another mountain you have to climb? I mean, how frustrating was that for you?
We were up 2-0. We were feeling great about ourselves. We kind of gave that final series away, and it was a tough summer sitting on that for a couple months. I think more than anything, I hope it motivates me more. It pushed me again, and hopefully get the chance again to get my team there and win it all for this organization.
Though Dirk fell short of the championship, he did establish himself as one of the game's truly elite players with his performance in leading the Mavericks to last year's finals. And he's had the most success of any European player who has come to the NBA. One indication of his impact is that every NBA team now has a scouting presence in Europe. And many of those scouts have expressed a common sentiment that no one wants to miss out on the next Dirk Nowitzki. As for the career of David Hasselhoff, we'll have to save that subject for another show sometime in the very distant future. In the meantime, here's a preview of our next installment featuring the NBA's all-time leader in three-point shooting percentage, who is now my broadcasting colleague on TNT, Steve Kerr.
I had to be solid. I had to move the ball and get us into our offense and move and pass and cut and then make open shots. And the Bulls